The phone rings, shattering the quiet of my office. Mr. Thompson, your wife and daughter have been in an accident. They're in ICU. You need to come now. My heart stops. I drop everything, rushing out, barely remembering to grab my keys. I drive like a madman, my thoughts racing faster than the car. Sarah and Emily. My life, my cheating wife, and my precious daughter. The memories of Sarah's late nights, the coldness in her eyes, the distant touch, flood back. But now isn't the time to dwell on her betrayal. I need to be there for Emily. At the hospital, the sterile smell hits me like a punch. I demand to see them. The nurse's eyes are sympathetic and she leads me to the ICU. My heart pounds in my chest, each beat echoing the fear and urgency that fills me. Sarah lies there pale and fragile. Emily is beside her, tubes and wires making her look so small and vulnerable. I reach for Emily's hand, my voice breaking. "I'm here, sweetheart. Dad's here." A doctor approaches, looking grave. "Mr. Thompson, your daughter is stable for now, but if her condition worsens, she might need a blood transfusion. Take my blood. Do whatever it takes," I insist, desperation clawing at me. The doctor hesitates. "We will, but it would be better if the blood came from her biological father." The words hit me like a sledgehammer. "What do you mean? I am her father." He looks uncomfortable. "Mr. Thompson, I can only tell you what I've been informed. I'm sorry." My mind spins. Sarah's affair, the late nights, the whispers. Could it be true? I look at Sarah, unconscious and unable to explain. The nurse gently pulls me away, giving Sarah and Emily space. "Your wife and daughter need you to be strong," she says softly. I nod, trying to steady myself. My phone buzzes. It's my boss, but I ignore it. Work doesn't matter now. Nothing matters but my family. I sit in the waiting room, the minutes crawling by. I think back to our life, 15 years of marriage, the happy times, the fights, the distance that grew between us. And Emily, the light of my life, always caught in the middle. The nurse brings me coffee. It's bitter and cold, but I drink it, needing something to focus on. My mind keeps circling back to the doctor's words. If Emily needs blood and it's not mine, the implications are unbearable. A flicker of memory surfaces, Sarah's distant behavior, the secretive phone calls. I should have seen it. I should have known. But now isn't the time for blame. Emily needs me. The call from the hospital was the event that changed everything. My life, once so ordinary, is now in turmoil. I stand up, resolved. I have to be strong. For Emily, for myself. I have to find out the truth. But first, I have to get through this night. I rush back to the ICU, unaware of the full storm that's about to hit. I stand frozen, the doctor's words echoing in my head. Biological father. My heart pounds, each beat a hammer against my rib cage. I stare at Emily, my sweet Emily, fighting for her life. My knees weaken, and I grip the edge of the counter to stay upright. "Mr. Thompson?" The doctor's voice pulls me back. I nod, swallowing hard, trying to push away the rising tide of questions. "I'll do whatever it takes," I manage to say. The doctor nods and walks away, leaving me with a nurse who explains the procedures, but her words are a blur. My mind is fixated on one thought: Sarah's betrayal. I pace the sterile hallway, the antiseptic smell clawing at my senses. My phone buzzes in my pocket, but I ignore it. Work, friends, everything else fades into the background. All that matters is Emily and the truth I need to face. Hours pass, and finally Sarah stirs. I rush to her side, my emotions a volatile mix of anger, hurt, and desperation. Her eyes flutter open, and for a moment, there's confusion. Then she sees me, and guilt shadows her gaze. "Jack," she whispers, her voice frail. I lean in, my voice low and tight. "The doctor said Emily might need a blood transfusion from her biological father." "What does he mean, Sarah?" Tears well up in her eyes. She looks away, her silence speaking volumes. My chest tightens, and I feel like I'm drowning. "Sarah, answer me," I demand, my voice shaking. She breaks, sobbing softly. "I'm sorry, Jack. I'm so sorry." The truth crashes over me. The late nights, the distant looks, the whispered phone calls. It all makes sense now. My world shatters and I'm left standing in the wreckage. How long, I ask, my voice hollow. 2 years, she admits. It was a mistake, a stupid, horrible mistake. But Jack, I love you. I love our family. I pull away, my mind racing. 2 years of lies, of living a life that wasn't mine. I glance at Emily, my heart breaking for her. Who is he? I ask, needing to know the man who disrupted our lives. Sarah hesitates and I feel my patience snap. Who is he, Sarah? John, she whispers. John Miller. John Miller. A close friend, someone I trusted. The betrayal cuts even deeper. I nod, my decision made. I need to focus on Emily now, I say, my voice cold. We'll deal with the rest later. I leave her room, the weight of her confession pressing down on me. In the hallway, I lean against the wall, trying to steady my breath. I need to stay strong for Emily, but the pain is overwhelming. The hours blur as I sit by Emily's side, holding her hand, willing her to fight. Every beep of the monitor is a reminder of what's at stake. My phone buzzes again, and this time I answer. Jack, it's Tom. What's going on? Tom is my best friend, and I hear the concern in his voice. Sarah and Emily are in the hospital. Car accident, I say, my voice cracking. Jesus, are they okay? Emily's in critical condition. Sarah, she's stable. I'm coming over, Tom says without hesitation. I hang up, grateful for his support. I need someone to anchor me in this storm. Tom arrives quickly, his presence a small comfort. He sits beside me, his hand on my shoulder. What happened? He asks gently. I tell him everything. The accident, the doctor's words, Sarah's confession. He listens, his face a mask of shock and anger. John Miller? He repeats, disbelief in his voice. I nod. I need to find out if he's really Emily's father. For her sake. Tom's expression hardens. We'll get through this, Jack. Whatever it takes. With Tom's support, I hire a private investigator to dig into Sarah's affair and Emily's paternity. The waiting is agony, each day a fresh wound. I balance hospital visits with meetings, my life a chaotic mess. Sarah tries to talk, to explain, but I can't bear to listen. Every word feels like a knife. I focus on Emily, pouring all my energy into her recovery. Finally, the investigator calls. Jack, I have news. Can we meet? We meet in a small cafe, the air thick with tension. What did you find? I ask, my heart in my throat. The investigator slides a folder across the table. It's all in there. John Miller is the biological father. The confirmation hits me like a blow. I flip through the documents, the proof undeniable. My hands shake, and I feel the anger boiling over. Thank you, I manage to say, standing up abruptly. I need to confront John, to face the man who destroyed my life. Tom insists on coming with me. We drive in silence, the tension palpable. When we arrive at John's house, I don't hesitate. I pound on the door, my fury barely contained. John opens the door, his expression shifting from surprise to apprehension. Jack, what are you doing here? We need to talk, I say, pushing past him into the house. Tom follows, his presence a silent support. I turn to John, my anger finally spilling over. Did you know Emily might be yours? John pales, his eyes widening. What are you talking about? Sarah's affair, Emily's blood type. She needs a transfusion, and the doctor said it's best from her biological father. Did you know? John shakes his head, his voice trembling. I had no idea, Jack, I swear. Liar, I shout, my fist clenching. Tom steps between us, holding me back. Jack, calm down, Tom urges. I take a deep breath, trying to rein in my rage. I need to know if you're willing to help her. She's your daughter, John. Whether you knew or not, she needs you. John looks stricken, his eyes darting to Tom and back to me. Of course I'll help. Anything for Emily. The tension eases slightly, but the betrayal still festers. I turn to leave, needing to get back to Emily. Jack, John calls after me. I'm sorry for everything. I don't respond. The words mean nothing now. All that matters is Emily. Back at the hospital, I relay the news to the doctor. They contact John for the necessary procedures. I sit by Emily's side, exhaustion weighing me down. Sarah watches from her bed, her eyes filled with unspoken words. Jack, she whispers when I pass her room, I pause, my heart aching. Can we talk? Not now, Sarah. Emily needs me. She nods, tears slipping down her cheeks. I walk away, unable to face her. Days pass in a blur of medical updates and sleepless nights. Emily's condition stabilizes, but the emotional wounds deepen. I struggle to process the truth, to reconcile my love for Emily with the betrayal of her paternity. Finally, Emily wakes, her eyes fluttering open. Relief floods me, and I squeeze her hand gently. Hey, sweetheart, how do you feel? Tired, she murmurs, her voice weak. I smile, tears of relief streaming down my face. That's okay. Just rest. I'm here. As Emily drifts back to sleep, I feel a surge of determination. I will protect her, no matter what, even if it means facing the painful truths of our past. Later, I sit beside Sarah's bed, ready to confront her. We need to talk, I say, my voice firm. She nods, looking resigned. I know. I'm so sorry, Jack, for everything. Why, Sarah? Why did you do it? She sighs, her gaze distant. I was lonely, Jack. You were always working, always busy. John was there, and it just happened. I never meant to hurt you. You betrayed me, I say, the hurt raw in my voice. You betrayed our family. I know, she whispers. I can't undo it, but I want to make things right. For Emily. I look at her, the woman I once loved, now a stranger. We'll figure it out. For Emily. The days stretch on, filled with hospital visits and difficult conversations. I lean on Tom, my rock in this storm, and focus on Emily's recovery. The betrayal is a wound that will take time to heal, but for Emily's sake, I find the strength to keep going. One night, as I sit by Emily's bed, she stirs, her eyes finding mine. Dad, is everything okay? I force a smile, brushing a strand of hair from her face. Everything will be okay, sweetheart. Just rest. I'm here. In that moment, I vow to protect her, to rebuild our lives from the shattered pieces. The road ahead is long and fraught with challenges, but with Emily by my side, I know we can face anything. I hire a private investigator named Mike Johnson, a man with a reputation for uncovering the darkest secrets. We meet in a dimly lit cafe, and I hand him a photo of Sarah and Emily, along with the details of Sarah's affair with John Miller. I need to know everything, I say, my voice steely with determination. I need to know if Emily is really his daughter. Mike nods, slipping the photo into his pocket. I'll get to work right away. I'll need access to any records you can provide, and I'll be discreet. Thank you, I reply, my heart heavy. The truth is essential, no matter how painful. The days blur into a haze of hospital visits and sleepless nights. Emily's condition improves slowly, but the emotional turmoil only intensifies. Every time I look at her, I see the betrayal that could destroy us. Sarah tries to justify her actions, but her words fall on deaf ears. We sit in tense silence in Emily's room, our once loving marriage reduced to ashes. Jack, please, Sarah pleads one evening. It wasn't meant to hurt you. I was lost. And John, he was just there. I stare at her, my anger barely contained. You destroyed our family, Sarah. How could you? She breaks down sobbing, but I turn away, unable to comfort her. My focus remains on Emily, who stirs in her sleep, oblivious to the chaos around her. Mike's updates come sporadically, each one a new wound. He confirms the affair with John Miller and provides irrefutable evidence. Photos, texts, and hotel receipts, all pointing to a betrayal that runs deeper than I imagined. I confront Sarah with the evidence, my hands shaking. How long, Sarah? How long have you been lying to me? She looks at the photos, her face pale. 2 years, she whispers. I'm sorry, Jack. I never meant for it to go this far. 2 years, I echo, my voice rising. And you never thought to tell me? You never thought about what this would do to Emily? Her silence is damning. I leave the room, my mind a whirlwind of anger and despair. I find myself outside, the night air cool against my skin. I need to confront John, to hear his side of the story. Tom comes with me, his presence a steadying force. We drive to John's house, the tension between us palpable. When we arrive, I waste no time. I pound on the door, my anger boiling over. John opens the door, his face a mask of surprise. "Jack, what are you doing here?" "We need to talk," I say, pushing past him into the house. Tom follows, his eyes fixed on John. "Jack, what's going on?" John asks, his voice uneasy. I thrust the photos and texts at him. This is what's going on. "Did you know Emily might be your daughter?" John's face pales, his hands trembling as he looks at the evidence. "I had no idea, Jack. I swear." "Liar!" I shout, my fist clenching. Tom steps between us, holding me back. "Jack, calm down," Tom urges. "Let him talk." I take a deep breath, trying to control my rage. "Did you know, John? Did you ever think about what this would do to my family?" John shakes his head, his voice shaking. "I never knew, Jack. Sarah never told me. If Emily is my daughter, I'll do whatever it takes to help her. I promise." The words hang in the air, and I feel a flicker of doubt. Could he be telling the truth? I leave, needing time to process everything. Back at the hospital, Emily's condition improves, but the emotional wounds fester. Sarah and I communicate only about Emily's care, our conversations cold and strained. Emily wakes one morning, her eyes finding mine. "Dad, what's going on? Why is Mom crying all the time?" I force a smile, brushing her hair back. "Mom and I are just dealing with some things, sweetheart. You don't need to worry about it. Just focus on getting better." She nods, her eyes closing again. I feel a pang of guilt, knowing she deserves the truth, but not wanting to burden her. Mike calls with the final piece of the puzzle. "Jack, I have the paternity test results. Emily is John Miller's biological daughter." The confirmation is a knife to my heart. I sit in my car, the weight of the news crushing me. I need to tell Sarah, to face the reality of our situation. We meet in the hospital cafeteria, the air thick with tension. I hand her the results, my hands shaking. "It's confirmed. Emily is John's daughter." Sarah looks at the paper, tears streaming down her face. "I'm so sorry, Jack. I never meant for this to happen." I nod, the pain raw in my chest. "We need to focus on Emily now. We'll deal with everything else later." The days stretch into weeks, each one a battle. Emily's condition stabilizes, but the emotional wounds deepen. Sarah and I start divorce proceedings, the legal battles adding to the strain. Emily senses the tension, her once bright smile dimmed by the weight of our secrets. She asks questions, but I struggle to find the right answers. "Dad, why are you and Mom fighting all the time?" she asked one evening, her eyes filled with worry. I sigh, sitting beside her. "Your mom and I are going through a tough time, Emily, but we both love you very much, and that will never change." She nods, her small hand squeezing mine. "I just want us to be happy again." I force a smile, my heart breaking. "We will be, sweetheart, I promise." One afternoon, as I sit by Emily's bed, Sarah approaches, her face lined with exhaustion. "Can we talk, Jack? Please?" I nod, following her to a quiet corner of the hospital. "What is it, Sarah?" "I know I've hurt you, and I'm sorry, but we need to find a way to move forward, for Emily's sake." I nod, the anger still simmering beneath the surface. "I'm trying, Sarah, but it's not easy." "I know," she whispers. "I just want us to be civil, for Emily's sake." We agree to put our differences aside, focusing on Emily's recovery. The legal battles rage on, but we find a fragile truce, united in our love for our daughter. Emily overhears part of a heated conversation between Sarah and me, her eyes wide with confusion and fear. I take her aside, my heart aching. "Emily, we need to talk." She nods, her small body trembling. "Dad, what's going on?" I take a deep breath, the words heavy on my tongue. "Your mom and I are getting a divorce. It's not because of you, sweetheart. We both love you very much, and that will never change." Tears fill her eyes, and I pull her into my arms, holding her tight. "It's going to be okay, Emily. I promise." The days blur into a routine of hospital visits and court dates. Sarah and I navigate the legal battles, each step a painful reminder of our fractured family. One night, as I sit by Emily's bed, she stirs, her eyes finding mine. "Dad, is everything really going to be okay?" I force a smile, brushing a tear from her cheek. Yes, sweetheart, it's going to be okay. We'll get through this together. In that moment, I vow to protect her, to rebuild our lives from the shattered pieces. The road ahead is long and fraught with challenges, but with Emily by my side, I know we can face anything. The bond between us strengthens, a beacon of hope in the darkness. As the legal battles continue, Sarah and I find a way to communicate civilly, focusing on Emily's well-being. The process is slow and painful, but we make progress. Emily begins to show signs of emotional recovery, her smile returning little by little. One afternoon, as we sit together in the park, she looks up at me, her eyes bright. "Dad, can we get ice cream?" I smile, the warmth of her request melting the ice around my heart. "Of course, sweetheart. Anything you want." We walk to the ice cream stand, hand in hand, a small semblance of normalcy returning to our lives. The future is uncertain, but for the first time in months, I feel a glimmer of hope. We will get through this, together. The private investigator confirms the unthinkable. Emily is John Miller's biological daughter. My heart shatters into a million pieces, but I decide to keep the truth from her. She's already been through so much. This revelation would destroy her. Days turn into nights as I stay by Emily's side, the hospital becoming our second home. Then one evening, Emily's condition takes a sudden turn for the worse. Her breathing becomes labored, an alarm sound. Nurses and doctors rush in, and I'm pushed to the side, helpless and terrified. "We need to operate immediately," the doctor says, his tone urgent. "She needs a blood transfusion, now." The words hang in the air, a grim reminder of the truth I've been grappling with. I contact John, my voice strained. "Emily needs your blood. It's critical." John hesitates, then agrees. "I'll be there as soon as I can." The wait is excruciating. Emily's life hangs in the balance, and every second feels like an eternity. Finally, John arrives, his face a mask of concern and guilt. The doctors take his blood and prep Emily for surgery. I watch, feeling utterly powerless. The surgery lasts hours, each tick of the clock a torment. I pace the waiting room, my mind racing. What if this doesn't work? What if I lose her? The thought is unbearable. Finally, the doctor emerges, looking exhausted but relieved. The surgery went well. She's stable. Relief floods through me, and I thank him profusely. I collapse into a chair, the weight of the past weeks crashing down on me. John sits across from me, his face pale. "I'm glad she's okay," he says softly. "Me too," I reply, the words heavy with unspoken tension. John takes a deep breath. "I want to be part of her life, Jack. She's my daughter too." I stare at him, my emotions a whirlwind. Anger, betrayal, fear, and a grudging acceptance. We'll discuss it. Right now, Emily needs to recover. The legal and ethical dilemmas loom large. How do we navigate this new reality? How do we explain it to Emily? The questions gnaw at me, but I push them aside for now. Emily's health is my priority. As Emily recovers, Sarah and I are forced to confront our fractured relationship. The hospital becomes a battleground, each interaction fraught with tension. One evening, we find ourselves alone in the waiting room, the silence heavy. "We need to talk," Sarah says, her voice barely a whisper. I nod, my throat tight. "About what?" "About us. About Emily. We can't keep going like this." I take a deep breath, the anger simmering just beneath the surface. "You destroyed our family, Sarah. How do we move past that?" She looks at me, tears in her eyes. "I know I hurt you, Jack, but we need to find a way to co-parent Emily. She needs both of us." "I'm not sure I can ever forgive you," I admit, my voice raw. "I don't expect you to," she replies, her voice breaking. "But we have to try. For Emily." We agree to seek counseling, not for us, but to find a way to co-parent amicably. It's a small step, but it's something. We both love Emily, and that has to be enough. Weeks pass, and Emily slowly recovers. Her strength returns, and she starts asking questions. "Dad, why was John here? What's going on?" The moment I've dreaded, I sit her down, taking her hands in mine. "Emily, there's something you need to know. John is..." He's your biological father. Her eyes widen, confusion and hurt swirling in their depths. What do you mean? You're my dad. I am your dad, sweetheart, always. But biologically, John is your father. It doesn't change how much I love you. Tears spill down her cheeks and she pulls away. Why didn't you tell me? I wanted to protect you, I say, my heart breaking. I didn't want you to get hurt. She runs to her room, slamming the door. I stand there feeling helpless and broken. How do I mend a heart that's been shattered by the truth? The following days are tense. Emily is distant, processing the revelation in her own way. I give her space, but it kills me to see her so hurt. Sarah and I attend counseling, our sessions fraught with emotion. We talk about the affair, the betrayal, and how to move forward. It's painful, but necessary. John reaches out, wanting to be involved in Emily's life. It's a delicate situation, but we agree to supervised visits. Emily is hesitant at first, but slowly, she starts to warm up to him. The legal battles begin. Custody of Emily becomes a contentious issue. Sarah wants joint custody, and John wants visitation rights. I'm torn, wanting to protect Emily, but also knowing she deserves to know her biological father. We go to court, the tension palpable. Lawyers argue and emotions run high. I testify, talking about my love for Emily and my fears about the impact of this new revelation. Sarah testifies, expressing her remorse and desire to co-parent effectively. John testifies, his voice filled with regret and hope for a relationship with Emily. The judge listens, weighing the evidence and testimonies. Finally, a decision is made. Emily will stay primarily with me, but Sarah will have joint custody and John will have supervised visitation rights. It's not perfect, but it's a start. We begin to adapt to this new normal, each step a challenge. Emily struggles with the revelations about her paternity, but she starts to see a therapist, and slowly she begins to heal. I focus on creating a stable and loving environment for her, despite the ongoing legal issues. Sarah and I communicate better, our co-parenting efforts more effective. It's not easy, but we're making progress. One evening, as I tuck Emily into bed, she looks up at me, her eyes filled with a mix of emotions. Dad, will it ever be okay? I smile, brushing a tear from her cheek. Yes, sweetheart, it will be. We'll get through this together. Emily nods, her small hand squeezing mine. I love you, Dad. I love you too, Emily. Always. The road ahead is long, but for the first time, I see a glimmer of hope. We're healing, slowly but surely. The past will always be a part of us, but it doesn't have to define our future. As Emily drifts off to sleep, I sit by her side, watching her breathe. My heart swells with love and determination. We've been through so much, but we're stronger for it. Sarah and I continue our counseling, our relationship shifting from broken to functional. We'll never be what we once were, but we can be something new. Co-parents, united in our love for Emily. John's visits become more frequent, and Emily starts to build a relationship with him. It's awkward at first, but they find their way. I watch from a distance, my emotions a complex mix of acceptance and lingering hurt. One afternoon, as we all sit together in the park, Emily looks up at us, her smile bright. Can we get ice cream? We all laugh, the tension easing. Of course, sweetheart. Anything you want, I say, my heart light. We walk to the ice cream stand, hand in hand, a new semblance of normalcy returning to our lives. The future is uncertain, but for the first time in months, I feel a glimmer of hope. We will get through this, together. The journey has been painful, but it has also brought us closer. I look at Emily, her resilience and strength inspiring me. She's the reason I keep fighting, the reason I find the strength to face each day. The road ahead will be filled with challenges, but I'm ready. For Emily, for myself, for our new life. We're healing, growing, and finding our way forward. As I sit by Emily's side, watching her sleep, I feel a sense of peace. The past will always be a part of us, but it doesn't have to define our future. We're moving forward, together, one step at a time. The surgery is successful. Emily pulls through, but the emotional wounds remain deep and raw. As I sit by her side, watching her breathe steadily, I know the hardest part is just beginning. I need to rebuild our lives from the shattered pieces left behind. The day after the surgery, I file for divorce. Sarah and I agree it's the best decision for everyone involved, especially Emily. The process is painful and messy, each step a reminder of the life we once had and lost. The legal battles over Emily's custody are just as brutal. Sarah wants joint custody, but I'm determined to keep Emily with me. John complicates things further by asserting his right to be part of Emily's life. The court hearings are grueling, each one draining me emotionally and physically. Emily senses the tension. She's struggling with the revelations about her paternity, and it breaks my heart to see her so confused and hurt. One night she comes to me, her eyes filled with tears. "Dad, why did this happen? Why can't we just be a normal family?" I pull her into my arms, my own tears threatening to spill. "I don't know, sweetheart, but we'll get through this. We'll find a new normal." I decide we both need help to cope with the trauma. I find a therapist, Dr. Jane Anderson, who specializes in family therapy. Our sessions are intense, but they help. Emily starts to open up about her feelings, her fears, and her anger. I do the same, trying to make sense of the whirlwind our lives have become. In one session, Emily asks the question I've been dreading. "Do you hate Mom?" I take a deep breath, choosing my words carefully. "No, Emily, I don't hate her. I'm angry and hurt, but I don't hate her. She's still your mom, and we both love you very much." Dr. Anderson nods approvingly. "That's important, Jack. Emily needs to see that, despite everything, she's still loved by both her parents." Our sessions continue, and slowly Emily begins to show signs of emotional recovery. Her smile starts to return, and she becomes more engaged in school and her hobbies. The progress is slow, but it's there, and it gives me hope. Sarah and I work on our co-parenting skills. It's not easy, but we manage to communicate more effectively, putting Emily's needs first. We attend mediation sessions where we discuss custody arrangements and how to make transitions smoother for Emily. It's a long, painful process, but we make progress. John's involvement remains a contentious issue. He wants to be a part of Emily's life, but I struggle with the idea. Dr. Anderson helps us navigate this delicate situation, setting up supervised visits at first. Emily is hesitant, but she gradually warms up to John. It's awkward and tense, but they start to build a tentative relationship. One weekend, Sarah, John, and I have a meeting with Dr. Anderson to discuss the long-term plan for Emily's custody. The air is thick with tension, but we're all committed to finding a solution that works best for Emily. "Emily needs stability," Dr. Anderson says, her tone firm. "She's been through a lot, and it's crucial that we create a consistent, supportive environment for her." We all nod in agreement, understanding the importance of her words. After hours of discussion, we reach a compromise. Emily will stay primarily with me, but Sarah will have joint custody, and John will have supervised visitation rights. It's not perfect, but it's a start. The legal battles eventually come to an end, and we begin to settle into our new normal. Emily continues her therapy, and I focus on creating a stable and loving environment for her. Our bond grows stronger, forged through the trials we've faced together. One evening, as I tuck Emily into bed, she looks up at me with a small smile. "Dad, do you think things will ever be really okay again?" I brush a strand of hair from her face, my heart swelling with love and determination. "Yes, sweetheart, I do. We're getting through this together, one day at a time." Sarah moves into a small apartment nearby, trying to rebuild her life. She's dealing with her own guilt and regret, but she's committed to being a good mother to Emily. Our relationship remains strained, but we manage to co-parent effectively, putting Emily's needs above our own. John's visits become a regular part of our routine. Emily is still adjusting, but she's starting to accept him as a part of her life. It's a slow process, but it's happening. I watch from a distance, my emotions a complex mix of acceptance and lingering hurt. One afternoon, as Emily and John are sitting in the park, she looks up at him and asks, "Do you love me?" John's eyes fill with tears and he nods. "Yes, Emily, I love you very much." She smiles, a genuine, heartfelt smile, and I feel a flicker of hope. We're healing, slowly but surely. The court's decision brings a sense of closure. Emily remains primarily with me, but with joint custody arrangements for Sarah and supervised visits for John. It's a delicate balance, but it works. We're all committed to making it work for Emily's sake. As we start to adapt to our new normal, I feel a sense of peace. The road ahead will still have challenges, but I'm ready to face them. For Emily, for myself, and for our new life. One evening, as we sit together in the living room, Emily looks at me with a thoughtful expression. "Dad, do you think we're a stronger family now?" I smile, my heart swelling with pride. "Yes, Emily, I think we are. We've been through a lot, but we've come out stronger on the other side. We continue to build our new life, each day a step towards healing and growth. The past will always be a part of us, but it doesn't have to define our future. We're moving forward together, one step at a time." As Emily and I walk hand in hand to the ice cream stand, I feel a sense of hope and determination. We've faced unimaginable challenges, but we've also found strength and resilience we didn't know we had. The journey has been painful, but it has also brought us closer. I look at Emily, her resilience and strength inspiring me every day. She's the reason I keep fighting, the reason I find the strength to face each new day. The future is uncertain, but I know we'll get through it together. We're healing, growing, and finding our way forward. And as I watch Emily take each step with courage and grace, I feel a sense of pride and love that fills my heart. We're not just surviving, we're thriving. The road ahead may be long, but we're ready for it. Together we can face anything. The custody battle finally reaches its climax in court. The tension is palpable as we sit in the courtroom, waiting for the proceedings to begin. I glance at Sarah, who looks worn and defeated. Across the room, John sits with his lawyer, his expression a mix of determination and regret. My heart pounds as I think about the impact this trial will have on Emily. The judge calls the court to order, and the lawyers begin their arguments. My attorney, a sharp and seasoned professional, lays out our case. He speaks of the stability I provide for Emily, the bond we share, and my commitment to her well-being. Sarah's attorney counters, highlighting her role as a mother and her efforts to rebuild her life. John's lawyer argues for his right to be part of Emily's life, given the biological connection. Each testimony is a knife to the heart. Sarah takes the stand, tears streaming down her face as she speaks of her regret and love for Emily. "I know I've made mistakes, Your Honor," she says, her voice trembling, "but I love my daughter, and I want to be there for her." John follows, his voice steady but emotional. "I never knew Emily was my daughter until recently. I want to make things right and be a part of her life. She deserves to know her father." When it's my turn, I take a deep breath and step forward. I speak of the love and bond I share with Emily, the life we've built together, and my fears about the impact of this upheaval on her fragile state. "Emily is my world," I say, my voice strong. "I've been there for her through everything, and I'll continue to be there for her, no matter what." The judge listens intently, weighing every word. After hours of deliberation, she finally delivers her verdict. In the best interest of the child, Emily Thompson will remain primarily with her father, Jack Thompson. Sarah Thompson will have joint custody with defined visitation rights. John Miller will have supervised visits, allowing him to build a relationship with his daughter. The decision is a compromise, but it's one I can live with. Relief washes over me, though the weight of the journey ahead still looms large. We leave the courtroom, the air heavy with unresolved emotions. Outside, Sarah approaches me, her eyes red from crying. "Thank you, Jack," she says softly, "for everything." I nod, the anger and hurt still there, but muted by the day's events. "We're doing this for Emily," I reply. John steps forward, extending a hand. "I appreciate this, Jack. I know it's not easy." I shake his hand, the gesture formal but necessary. "We'll make it work. For Emily." The days that follow are filled with adjustments. Sarah moves into a small apartment nearby, trying to rebuild her life while dealing with her own guilt and regret. She's committed to being a good mother, and we work on communicating more effectively for Emily's sake. Our relationship remains strained, but we manage to co-parent without the bitterness that once overshadowed every interaction. John's visits are awkward at first, but he's determined to be a part of Emily's life. I watch from a distance, my emotions a complex mix of acceptance and lingering hurt. Emily is hesitant but curious, and slowly she starts to warm up to John. It's a delicate process, filled with ups and downs, but it's happening. One afternoon, Emily and I are in the park when John arrives for his supervised visit. She runs to him, her smile tentative but genuine. They sit on a bench, talking and laughing. I watch, my heart swelling with pride and relief. We're finding a way forward, one step at a time. Sarah and I continue our counseling sessions, our conversations raw but necessary. We talk about the past, the betrayal, and how to move forward. It's painful, but it helps. We're learning to put our differences aside and focus on what's best for Emily. The court's decision brings a sense of closure. Emily remains primarily with me, but with joint custody arrangements for Sarah and supervised visits for John. It's a delicate balance, but it works. We're all committed to making it work for Emily's sake. As we start to adapt to our new normal, I feel a sense of peace. The road ahead will still have challenges, but I'm ready to face them. For Emily, for myself, and for our new life. One evening, as we sit together in the living room, Emily looks at me with a thoughtful expression. "Dad, do you think we're a stronger family now?" I smile, my heart swelling with pride. "Yes, Emily, I think we are. We've been through a lot, but we've come out stronger on the other side. We continue to build our new life, each day a step towards healing and growth. The past will always be a part of us, but it doesn't have to define our future. We're moving forward, together, one step at a time." As Emily and I walk hand in hand to the ice cream stand, I feel a sense of hope and determination. We've faced unimaginable challenges, but we've also found strength and resilience we didn't know we had. The journey has been painful, but it has also brought us closer. I look at Emily, her resilience and strength inspiring me every day. She's the reason I keep fighting, the reason I find the strength to face each new day. The future is uncertain, but I know we'll get through it together. We're healing, growing, and finding our way forward. And as I watch Emily take each step with courage and grace, I feel a sense of pride and love that fills my heart. We're not just surviving, we're thriving. The road ahead may be long, but we're ready for it. Together, we can face anything. Sarah decides to move away to start afresh, seeking a new beginning. It's a hard decision, but she believes it's the best way to deal with her own guilt and rebuild her life. We have a tearful goodbye, promising to stay in touch for Emily's sake. Her departure brings a sense of finality, a closing chapter in our turbulent history. With Sarah gone, Emily and I grow even closer. Our bond is stronger than ever, fortified by the trials we've endured. We settle into a routine, finding joy in the small moments we share. Whether it's cooking dinner together, watching movies, or simply talking about our day, each moment is a step towards healing. John's visits become a regular part of our routine. Emily continues to build a relationship with him, slowly but surely. It's still awkward at times, but they're finding their rhythm. I watch from a distance, my emotions a mix of acceptance and lingering hurt. But I see the importance of their connection, and I support it for Emily's sake. The court's decision brings a sense of closure. Emily remains primarily with me, but with joint custody arrangements for Sarah and supervised visits for John. It's a delicate balance, but it works. We're all committed to making it work for Emily's sake. As we start to adapt to our new normal, I feel a sense of peace. The road ahead will still have challenges, but I'm ready to face them. For Emily, for myself, and for our new life. One evening, as we sit together in the living room, Emily looks at me with a thoughtful expression. "Dad, do you think we're a stronger family now?" I smile, my heart swelling with pride. "Yes, Emily, I think we are. We've been through a lot, but we've come out stronger on the other side. We continue to build our new life, each day a step towards healing and growth. The past will always be a part of us, but it doesn't have to define our future. We're moving forward, together, one step at a time." As Emily and I walk hand in hand to the ice cream stand, I feel a sense of hope and determination. We've faced unimaginable challenges, but we've also found strength and resilience we didn't know we had. The journey has been painful, but it has also brought us closer. I look at Emily, her resilience and strength inspiring me every day. She's the reason I keep fighting, the reason I find the strength to face each new day. The future is uncertain, but I know we'll get through it together. We're healing, growing, and finding our way forward. And as I watch Emily take each step with courage and grace, I feel a sense of pride and love that fills my heart. We're not just surviving, we're thriving. The road ahead may be long, but we're ready for it. Together we can face anything. Sarah decides to move away to start afresh, seeking a new beginning. It's a hard decision, but she believes it's the best way to deal with her own guilt and rebuild her life. We have a tearful goodbye, promising to stay in touch for Emily's sake. Her departure brings a sense of finality, a closing chapter in our turbulent history. With Sarah gone, Emily and I grow even closer. Our bond is stronger than ever, fortified by the trials we've endured. We settle into a routine, finding joy in the small moments we share. Whether it's cooking dinner together, watching movies, or simply talking about our day, each moment is a step towards healing. John's visits become a regular part of our routine. Emily continues to build a relationship with him, slowly but surely. It's still awkward at times, but they're finding their rhythm. I watch from a distance, my emotions a mix of acceptance and lingering hurt. But I see the importance of their connection, and I support it for Emily's sake. The court's decision reflecting on the journey, I can't help but marvel at how much we've endured. The pain of betrayal, the fear of losing Emily, the grueling court battles, all of it has shaped who we are today. Sitting in our living room, watching Emily do her homework, I feel a sense of peace that was once unimaginable. Emily's recovery has been remarkable. The physical scars are fading, and she's beginning to heal emotionally. Therapy has been instrumental in this process. Our sessions with Dr. Anderson have helped us navigate the complexities of our new reality. Emily's resilience never ceases to amaze me. She's stronger than I ever imagined. "Dad, can we talk?" Emily asked one evening, her eyes serious. "Of course, sweetheart. What's on your mind?" She hesitates, then looks up at me with determination. "I've been thinking a lot about everything. Mom, John, the accident. I want to know more about why things happened the way they did." I nod, understanding her need for answers. "It's complicated, Emily. Your mom made some choices that hurt us all, but she loves you very much. And John, well, he didn't know about you until recently. He's trying to be part of your life now. Do you think I should see him more?" she asks, her voice wavering. "That's up to you," I say gently. "It's important that you do what feels right for you. If you want to spend more time with him, we can arrange that. If not, that's okay too." Emily nods, seeming to take comfort in my words. "I think I want to try. He's been really nice, and I'm curious about him." "We can do that," I assure her, my heart aching with a mix of sadness and hope. As the days pass, we continue to adapt to our new normal. Sarah's move has given her a fresh start, and while our relationship remains strained, we manage to co-parent effectively. Emily's visits with John become more frequent, and I see a bond beginning to form between them. It's awkward at times, but it's also necessary for Emily's sense of identity. One afternoon, while Emily is with John, I find myself alone for the first time in months. The quiet is strange, almost unsettling. I decide to visit the park where Emily and I spent so much time during her recovery. Sitting on a bench, I reflect on the past year. A man sits down next to me, breaking the silence. "Beautiful day, isn't it?" I nod, grateful for the distraction. "Yes, it is." We start talking, and I find myself opening up about the challenges I've faced. It's therapeutic, sharing my story with a stranger who listens without judgment. "You've been through a lot," he says, his voice filled with empathy, "but it sounds like you're on the right path." "I hope so," I reply, feeling a sense of resolve. I'm doing my best for Emily. When I return home, Emily's waiting for me, her eyes bright with excitement. "Dad, guess what? John wants to take me to a baseball game next weekend. Can I go?" I smile, seeing her happiness. "Of course, sweetheart. That sounds like fun." As the months go by, our lives continue to stabilize. Emily thrives at school, makes new friends, and even joins the soccer team. I find joy in the little things, cooking dinner together, helping her with homework, and watching movies on the couch. Our bond is stronger than ever, forged through adversity and love. I look at Emily and I see a bright future ahead. She's my inspiration, my reason for everything. One evening, as we sit together watching a movie, Emily turns to me and says, "Dad, I'm really happy. I know things have been tough, but I feel like we're in a good place now." I hug her, my heart full. I'm happy too, Emily. We've come a long way and we're going to keep moving forward. Looking ahead, I see a future filled with possibilities. Emily's recovery has given us both a new lease on life. I've found strength I didn't know I had, and Emily has shown me the true meaning of resilience. We plan for the future, trips we want to take, goals we want to achieve. Emily talks about her dreams of becoming a veterinarian, and I support her every step of the way. Our life is not perfect, but it's ours, and we're making the best of it. As I tuck Emily into bed one night, she smiles up at me. "Dad, do you think we'll always be this close?" "I hope so, sweetheart," I say, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "I'm always here for you, no matter what." She nods, content. "I love you, Dad." "I love you too, Emily, always." As I leave her room, I feel a sense of peace and fulfillment. We've been through hell and back, but we've emerged stronger and more connected than ever. The road ahead is still filled with challenges, but I know we can face them together. The story of our journey is one of pain and betrayal, but also of healing and growth. We've learned to forgive, to move forward, and to find joy in the present. Emily's recovery has been a testament to the power of love and resilience. Looking to the future, I see hope and possibility. Emily and I are ready for whatever comes our way. We've built a life together that is filled with love, strength, and the promise of new beginnings. The journey hasn't been easy, but it has been worth it. As I sit in the quiet of the evening, reflecting on all we've been through, I feel a profound sense of gratitude. We've faced our demons, confronted our fears, and come out stronger on the other side. Emily's laughter from her room fills the house, and I smile. Our future is bright, and I am ready to embrace it with open arms. We are a family forged in the fires of adversity, and nothing can break the bond we share. Together we will continue to grow, to heal, and to thrive. The past will always be a part of us, but it no longer defines us. We are moving forward one step at a time, towards a future filled with hope and love. And as I look at Emily, I know that no matter what challenges we face, we will face them together. The story of our journey is one of resilience, strength, and the unbreakable bond between a father and his daughter. We are ready for whatever comes next, and we will face it with courage and love.